Okay, so I made a video on Black Phone's ending, and I do have a video coming up on the Grabber, so stay tuned for that. So let's talk about a possible sequel that could be on the way, because yeah, we gotta talk about that because I feel a little conflicted about it. Like, I feel some sort of way about it. So before we get into it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We are on the road to 25,000 subscribers. We are super close to 22,000 subscribers, so super excited about that. But we do have a giveaway coming at 25,000, and we also have some other stuff coming on the way, as well as a watch party for Stranger Things Volume 2. So stay tuned for all of that by subscribing and notification bells on. But let's get right into this sequel. So Scott Derrickson is the director of Black Phone, and Scott Derrickson has done a lot of horror films. He's done The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Sinister, Deliverers from Evil. He also directed Doctor Strange, and he co-wrote the film with his longtime co-partner C. Robert Cargill. Now, this is going to be insane to hear, but the Black Phone could potentially have a sequel. So before we get into it, of course, spoilers ahead. If you're not caught up or didn't watch the Black Phone, I'm going to spoil a lot of stuff in the movie. So if you have and you haven't watched my videos on the ending and all of that, check those out after. But let's get right into this sequel that I'm not sure how it'll work. So according to Mr. Scott Derrickson, he says that Joe Hill, who actually wrote the short story, and we'll talk about that in a bit, actually pitched him a wonderful idea for a sequel to Black Phone. That is, if the movie does well at the box office, which, if you haven't been keeping up with the box office numbers or haven't heard, it's doing amazing. It already reached its budget and it's going and soaring. So that would mean that the sequel's on the way, right? And he said, if it does well, I'm going to do it. He's got a great idea. I really liked it. Joe's very protective and personal about his material, but he came to me with the idea, and I was like, that's how you do a sequel to Black Phone. That's terrific. So that is interesting to me to hear, because I felt like the Black Phone really ended in a very, closed way. Like, everything in it was solved by the end of it. So as you know, Finney was abducted by the Grabber, and he was aided by all the other victims of the Grabber, and the Grabber very much so gets killed by the end by Finney. At least I think now that he doesn't, because if they're going to make a sequel, maybe he somehow survived it. But they do say it when he goes back to school that that's the kid that killed the Grabber or escaped the Grabber, whatever. So I wouldn't feel that Finney would be as confident in himself and all of that going back to school and being out there if he knew for some reason that the Grabber hadn't been found or something. Like if the Grabber was knocked out and then out of nowhere he escaped, right, and the police didn't say nothing, unless they say it was a cover-up or something and we see the Grabber come back for Finney. But how do you explain the Black Phone in the next part of this whole story, right? Like, that Black Phone was in this house and everything. I'm pretty sure that this house is not going to really be around, but we'll see, right? So like I said, there's a lot of questions that I have about what they could do with a sequel. But if Scott Derrickson says that the original creator of the story has a vision for it, then I'm kind of hoping that vision is going to be something that kind of keeps the story going in a positive way. So we'll definitely see what that means, right? Because like I said, this one felt like a closed, done deal. That was it. Great contained story. But if they're saying there's potential for a sequel, I'm just not seeing it, I guess. I know that they could do a prequel, but I feel like a prequel would kind of defeat the purpose of everything else, because it would just feel the same way, like seeing these kids be locked up, then the Grabber's there, and then back the whole story up again. Because, of course, all of these kids actually got killed. So, it's interesting. Does the Grabber become a ghost now, vengefully haunting Finney? Or what is the thing, right? I don't know, but, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think that Scott Derrickson has directed some of the best horror of the last 20 years, especially with Sinister and now the Black Phone. So, if there's something that they see in here that's going to maybe make something great and follow this story and make it feel more complete, all power to them. I'll go watch it, but I just don't see it myself. But yeah, it just doesn't feel like we can continue this story, whether I just don't know, because a lot of the things that made this movie so powerful and stuff is not really knowing much going into it. I think the fact that we don't really know much about the grabber, we don't know his story, so I don't know if a sequel would want to explore that, but I don't think it should, because I feel like the whole reason he's such a terrifying monster is that we don't know him. We don't know his next move or his motives or any of that, so I think it adds more layers to that. So I feel like adding to that would definitely ruin the first movie. Now, the whole thing with doing a prequel about the other boys that takes away from it is we know how that story ends. We know about the black phone, and like I said, it would just feel like the same story being told again and again. So I don't know what they could do. Like I said, a grabber horror like short of like him being a ghost, that's something else I could think about. But other than that, I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But they said if this movie does great at the box office, a sequel would most likely come. And like I've told y'all, it's doing good at the box office, so a sequel is most likely to come. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. As I said, I think Scott Derrickson and Robert C. Cargill are great writers, director, and all. And I'm excited to see if they get their hands on this. Like he said, he would definitely be open to the idea. So who knows? We'll see what happens. And I'm excited nonetheless. I think the movie is definitely worth checking out. I don't know, a lot of the bad reviews talking about it feeling very short, hollow. Like, I felt this movie made me cry, and I think that's enough to make me say this is a good movie. I thought the scares were great. I thought the humor was good. I thought the way the shots and everything were visually shot were great. And I think that overall the story just felt very strong and ended well. Like I said, that's the reason I'm kind of confused hearing this sequel talk, but we'll see. Anyways, as always, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. We are on the road to 25,000 subscribers. We were trying to get there before Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 2, but doesn't look like it. But can we get to 22,000 subscribers before then? That's the goal, so let's see if we can. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe notification bell, and as always, I will be making an announcement about the Stranger Things watch party this week, so stay tuned for that. At 25,000, we will do a giveaway as well, so make sure those notification bells are on. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.